Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the European crossover webinar. And sorry for the delay. Bear with me. And just want to say hello to everybody. Hang on. Okay, and actually, I just had a Bitcoin chart up in here, but let me go on and pop this in here real quick with the euro dollar. And of course, the big news really over the weekend, really on with the UK and the travel ban, the different European nations. And look at this with euro, we got a nice little gap lower, but look here, let's take a look here with cable. And I saw in the chat yesterday afternoon that Jane said she was short, so congratulations to Jane. Look at this drop in cable. Kind of expected this after I saw those headlines. I posted them on Sunday morning. About right off, I had seen where the first one that started off was Italy, and then it was kind of like I think everybody jumped in kind. I'm thinking, you know what, boy, this is also a good way to pressure, um, the UK government too. So you just saw everybody piling in, and certainly we saw that. And I guess once everything got going, then we certainly saw that move. Um, Also, take a look here with the Aussie dollar. Even here, so we get a little bit of a dip on everything. But I think really the whole, which I was kind of surprised, but that we hadn't seen more of an impact with everything we'd been hearing about with things picking up in the UK as far as coronavirus. And I was a bit surprised that we hadn't seen more of an impact where, this was going to look somewhat, bearish, but we hadn't seen it. We're actually seeing it this morning. Looks like we're seeing this being reflected across the board. And my concern was also that the whole Brexit thing kept lingering and lingering. I'm thinking, well, God, I think at some point they're going to say, hey, this is bearish overall, but it certainly wasn't reflected. But we're seeing that this morning. And we even take a look here with the NASDAQ. And Didier says, good afternoon. And good afternoon, Didier. And let's go and take a look at where we stand here with the NASDAQ. The Senate is expected to go on and vote Monday, probably close to around the cash opening on the COVID bill. I think they will get something. They feel like they have to get something done before Christmas. And you can see here, we're kind of pulling back finally. I mean, we opened up and pushed up a little bit higher. But you can see here, we're taking a little bit of dip, not much, but I don't think anyone wants to step in ahead too quickly and fade this thing. We did see, you can see here, a little bit of a gravestone doji, but that was 3 bars ago, 3 2-hour bars ago. So we'll see how this plays out. But certainly the whole thing in this cutting UK flights coming out of the UK is certainly going to work on this. And then on top of that, you've got, as I said, with the whole Brexit thing, and boy, it is really just got that thing dipping good, but good. Let's go and take a look as far as Bear with me. Let's go look as far as the economic data. What the heck? See if it kicks it in back in again. I don't know why this thing didn't show up. Doesn't make any sense. What the heck? Let's reload the Reuters again. Oh, let's try this. Nope. What the heck? And I don't want to reload it again, so hang on. Didier said your thoughts on DAC. Well, that's one thing I haven't followed. I mean, I actually used to trade about 3 years ago. I'm not even, I don't follow it. I have it as one of the streams that I load up from my feed with Ninja, and I don't think I can pull it up in whatchamacall, in TD Ameritrade. Hang on, let me see if it something will pull up here on this one. Hang on. I don't think so. Hold on. Bear with me. I'm not on the same screen for that, but hold on. I'm trying to pull something up, see if something will come up. Yeah, it's not going to pull up. Here's the DAX 3-year NASDAQ one, but it's not going to. And I haven't used whatchamacall in quite a while. Hold on. Trying to think of that program. Trying to remember. I have a whatchamacall to that assignment. I can't even remember the name of the program that some of the people here use. Cannot think of the name of it. If you pop in the name of Amanda uses that same charting software. I just haven't used it in a while. TradingView. Hang on, think of that. I just haven't used it set up in my thing yet in a while, so I'd have to pull that up. So yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to pull it up today. I don't have my login for that, so I'm sorry about that. But let's go on and move in. We'll take a look at the news. So hold on. So sterling slumps on China UK virus curbs. Sterling slumped against the dollar and euro on Monday after the British government announced a new restrictions to curb a fast-spreading strain of the coronavirus in France, Germany, and others cut transport ties with Britain. The one that kicked it off was Italy. I was doing some analysis Sunday morning, and I saw that come across the wire, and I did share it in the chat room. And then right after that, the others started to follow. But the first one to kick it off was, at least from what I saw, was Italy. The pound fell nearly 2% against the dollar to below 133 and 1% against the euro. Deepening losses seen overnight in Asian trading hours. Italy, the Netherlands, Belgium, Israel, and Canada have also shut off travel, including suspending flights with the UK, after Prime Minister Boris Johnson said on Saturday that the new strain had led to a spike in infection numbers. The government has tightened its COVID-19 restrictions to London and nearby areas and also reversed plans to ease restrictions over the Christmas period. The fresh virus controls came as talks between Britain and the EU over a Brexit trade deal were expected to continue on Monday, with just days to go until the transition period expires at the end of the year. The new tougher COVID restrictions will likely have to remain in place until there's been greater vaccine rollout, which could take months, analysts said at MUFB said in a note. At the current juncture, we are working on an assumption that the vaccines will still prove effective against the new strain, but is not yet clear. Holy smokes. I mean, I know they've been talking about this new strain actually for about almost 3 weeks, I think it was, maybe at least 2 weeks. But heck, wouldn't have thought that. Bear with me. Mhm. British pound and the euro fell off on Monday as investors sought refuge in the dollar after a fast-spreading new coronavirus strain shut down much of the United Kingdom and disrupted international freight and Brexit talks uncertainty. Sterling fell close to 2% against the dollar in morning trading before Prime Minister Boris Johnson. That's kind of really a rehash of what the other one was. Let's take a look here. And the Australian New Zealand dollars fell on Monday as stricter Christmas lockdowns to contain coronavirus outbreaks across the world drove investors to buy the safe haven greenback. The Aussie dropped 0.5% at 75.85, having climbed for 7 straight weeks to touch 76.39. Yeah, I know. I was including that in my analysis for the Aussie and the Kiwi, like 7 straight weeks. And then the Kiwi, I think it rallied 6 out of the last 7 straight weeks or 7 weeks. Several European countries closed their borders to the UK as the country entered a tougher lockdown on the weekend to fight a new strain of the coronavirus, driving the US dollar higher against its peers on Monday. The markets were happy to continue plodding along higher to the year and year in the absence of any material bad news. But I would argue that this is pretty bad news that the markets had not been anticipating, said Chris Weston. Yeah, same here. I mean, honestly, as they kept talking about the it getting, the restrictions were getting tighter. This is towards the end of last week. I'm like, sure seems to me like that would kind of weigh on the markets, but the markets kept going higher. But that's what I was thinking. Like, this is kind of odd. It seems like that would really start to kick things off, but it didn't. Now, I guess with those countries cutting travel to UK, I guess it finally put some teeth into it. But Britain also said the European Union must shift positions after the Brexit negotiations failed to find agreement, raising the risk that the UK leaves the trading bloc with no deal at the end of the year, fueling the market's negative sentiment. The AUD has also been pressured by growing concerns about the Sydney outbreak, but I think this is less important than the global UK-inspired sell-off, said Stephen Dooley. Yeah, I mean, that's huge. I mean, but yet it's huge it came over the weekend, but really that's been leading into it. Yeah, I mean, I could see from other people saying, hey, it's going to go into third tier lockdown, but only certain portions. And then I saw where it was going to, so I think they even mentioned a tier 4 lockdown. I'm thinking, this is really bearish. I'm surprised we haven't seen it hit, but it simply didn't. Let's go on and move into the analysis. We definitely saw this gap down here with the euro. So the euro closed with a solid weekly bar. You can see that. This is actually on the daily, not on the weekly. We can switch over to the weekly. Most of all the charts I referenced were based on the weekly because they've been so strong. I don't know why this system is acting like it's running slow. I have to reboot it. So the euro closed with a solid weekly bar. Weekly level 2284 looms ahead as the year is close to the end. Weekly closing resistance of 2349 will be key. Support will be 2214. Actually, dip below that, followed by 2172. So let's take a look where we're at right now. We're even past beyond that, which we're just a little bit beyond that, which is 2166. So we had 2172. You see the 2245. Let's take a look here on the daily. Let's just go right here, which is just a hair below, which that would be the 2145 right there coming across here. So we're going to go to 2145. I have to reboot this computer. It seems to be running a little bit slow. I'm not sure why. And on the upside, let's go move into a 2-hour chart. You see right there, that's going to be resistance, 2235. Obviously, things have turned now because of what's happened with the gap lower. Obviously, with this whole UK thing, kind of flip things around. Let's go and move into the cable. Wow, look at that. Holy smokes. Now that's on a 2-hour chart though. Let's move into the daily. Everything was based on the weekly. Obviously, things have turned around. Let's pull this back. And put this to the daily chart. And you can see once it got beyond 33.82, but you can see where the resistance is going to be right there. Although it doesn't look like we're going to come back anywhere close. We're actually here. That's key for right now, which is going to be 32.48. And you could basically throw all that other analysis out the window now. Okay, concerning the gaps, it's going to matter now where we're at. So 32.48, at least for now, is support and resistance. You can see the old 33.82. Technically, we would look right here, but this has been so key, so it's going to be the old 33.82. And let's take a look at the Aussie. But most of this analysis we did over the weekend is pretty much out the window with the gap. I mean, these are huge gaps. Wow, I don't know what's wrong with this computer. It is really running slow. Sheesh. So we saw this Aussie go and take this dip. We had, we've been up, and it's actually up for 7 straight weeks. Look at that. That was just unbelievable. Look at that. And you can see we're confluencing with this 38% to 78%, 75.96. But let's take a look what we are on the daily. Boy, did that thing take a dip. So let's go now to the 2-hour chart, see if we can get something a little bit closer. There's going to be a resistance right there, which is going to be 75.84. And this is going to be support right there, which is 75.16. Let's go move on now to the Kiwi. Same thing here, pretty good slide. Look at that. Let's go move into the daily. Look at 7107. Let's move this to the 2-hour chart. Yeah, coming right across there. It's going to be right here, 7102. And support right there. That is 70.01. Going to the dollar CAD. This is finally trying to pick itself up. Well, you can see that wick right there. That's going to be resistance. 29.25. With support right there. 27.64. Onto the dollar peso. That's resistance right there, which is, you can execute that level right there. Technically, it's right here. It's called 2031. And support right there, 2012. I don't think it's going to come back towards that, but that would be support. Onto the dollar yen. Yeah, 362. And support right there, 326. Onto the Castell index. There's the immediate resistance, which is 90.65. We'll see whether we get some extra juice on that. With support, 90.12. Let's see if we can get something a little bit closer. Wow, this computer's really running slow. I don't know what's going on with it. Yeah, right there. You can see there. Wasn't much of a difference. 90.14. Moving on to the cross rates. Like I said, with these gaps you're seeing here, you can throw a lot of stuff out the window. You see here, like the analysis I had, I did it with the weekly charts. And look at the moves we had. Well, this throws everything right out the window. So you can see here, 72.77. So going over the notes is kind of like looking at ancient history almost. We got to go with what we got right now. So 72.77 is key. Let's look at it on a daily. Actually, not daily, but a 2-hour chart. And resistance is going to be, this is 73.26, a little bit higher. It actually would be right. See here coming across here. It's going to be 73.36. And Euro pound ought to be interesting too. Whew, man. That's a pretty good solid spike. And it's going to be right here, right on the wick there. $92.29. With support right here at that level. 91.32. Move on to the Euro odd. Talking about China restricting crude input coming across the wires. That's what's kind of not saying anything because a guy was squawking in my ear. We see a pretty good rebound here in the Euro odd, and you can see right there, that's going to be resistance 63, 62.47. And support's going to be right there as it broke right there, which is 61.57 at this point. And let's take a look here with Euro Kiwi. As soon as I finish the webinar, I got to go and reboot this computer. I don't know what the heck is going on with it. Hang on. See how everything's loading up real slow? Like it's real slow. I mean, it's nuts. Uh, so resistance right now in the EOQ, you can see coming in right into this level, which is going to be 73.57. With support, it's going to be the break of that line. That would be support now, 72.08. Onto the Aussie yen. Well, you can see how they got turned away right from that level. Let's go to a 2-hour chart, see if we can see something. We can see the level they're coming into, which is 77.76. Let's see if we can see the closer for the. Oh, this would be resistance right now. You can see right there, the break of that level. That's kind of close of it. We'll just double check on a 2-hour. $78.44. Might be pretty tough to get back to it, but and to the guppy. As I mentioned, I'm not even going over the analysis because it's moot, with these gaps. I mean, here was the analysis for. See, look how everything was loading real slow. I spent the last 2 weeks challenging when 40 resistance, 40.14 was supported 38.62. You see, I mean, all that's going to be slow. Doesn't even make any sense now at this point. But looking at it on the daily, you can see, let's see if you can see a lot of wicks in here. So it's going to gravitate towards this lower wick, which would come in right there at 37.04. We'll go with that, 37.04. And keep it simple. Resistance is going to be, well, that's still almost 100 away still. So we'll go with the 38.09 based on resistance level. And lastly, sterling odd. Boy, if we turn around giving all this stuff back. You see this wick right here comes in. We could push as low as that, which would be, but you do have a little bit of confluence here. You got this wick and this wick, and we'll go with that right there, which is 75. Let's just call it 75.75. And on the upside, right here, the break of this line, 77.10. Try and save this. Move this out of the way. And we'll just go on and take a look. And pre-market, here's Tesla. Boy, this move, look at this bananas up here, 695. But let's see what it is in pre-market. Oh, yeah, gap lower. Netflix. Close at 534. Still up here. And, oh, NASDAQ is starting to come off a bit here. Let's go there. But we are getting into some support we saw on the cable. But you can see here, we're coming here and tagging this 12,673. So you can see here, we're starting to pull back. Starting to see things kind of lighten up now. You're actually getting a little bit overdone here. But on a 2-hour chart, coming into support right there, 12,657. So we may see a little bit of a bounce. We can move into there. And also a 30-minute, that's confluence in here with 12,652. We can take a look at the SPOOs. They're dipping too. You can see that. And on a 2-hour chart, same thing here. But you can see here, coming into a little bit of support right here with the NASDAQ. We're under some trouble here. But that being said, we are coming into a little bit of support here. Where we've come into with cable, and bear with me. I'm going to go and get the bias chart. Hurry quickly, get that out. I'm going to have to reboot this system because it's running so slow. But we'll go and get the bias chart into the chat room, and I'll see y'all there in just a little bit once I get everything rebooted. And thanks for joining us here on the European Crossover webinar. Oh, yeah, the guy of Squawk just said he's not seeing any news. He's just seeing selling pickup in the equity markets. But I think it has more to do with the way that the cable has moved, or some of the sterling pairs have moved into /support resistance, depending on what cross rate you're looking at.